As the summer of 1944 turned into fall, Allied forces driving across Europe began to approach the western border of Germany. Aachen, a city located in western Germany near the intersection of the borders of Germany, Belgium, and the Netherlands, became the next target of the Allied offensive. Though it had little military value, it was a significant symbol for the Nazi regime, given that it was the capital of the Carolingian Empire during the rule of Charlemagne in the 8th century, which Hitler considered to be the First Reich. Additionally, the terrain to the east of Aachen was quite flat and presented a promising opening for greater penetration into the German heartland. Broadly speaking, there were three different types of urban terrain within Aachen: the northern portion of the city containing parks and resorts, a band of factories and apartments running through the city, and a historic district with winding streets and tightly packed buildings. Around 5,000 to 20,000 of the city's residents were still in the city at the start of the battle. The American forces had 100,000 soldiers assembled for Aachen's capture, while the Germans had 18,000 defenders for the city. M4 Sherman medium tanks and M10 tank destroyers supported the American offensive. Throughout September, American forces advanced around Aachen, eventually forming a semicircle around the western side of the city. The main assault on it began on October 2nd. The terrain to the northeast of the city was defined by three high points that the Americans needed to control in order to capture it. Crucifix Hill and Verlautenheide Ridge were captured on the 8th, while Ravensburg was taken on the night of October 9th. Additionally, Viersen was a town to the northeast of Aachen that needed to be captured by the 30th Infantry Division as it marched south to link up with the 1st Infantry Division and proved to be difficult to push through. Another important border town around Aachen requiring capture was Stolberg, to the east of the city, due to the fact that it was both higher in elevation than Aachen and could control the water supply for the city. On October 11th, a heavy bombardment of Aachen began by both American artillery and aircraft, though it was largely ineffective. American troops advanced into the city itself on October 13th. They adopted a strategy coined as knock 'em all down, or any structures in the path of the American advance were destroyed by shells from tanks and artillery, and then soldiers who fled to their basements were killed or captured. On October 16th, the 30th and 1st Infantry Divisions linked up, meaning that the city was encircled and that no escape from it or reinforcement of the troops inside it could occur. The fighting in the city of Aachen was some of the toughest urban warfare that American forces would encounter in World War II. German defenders effectively utilized the maze of sewers and cellars underneath the city, often using them to surprise the American forces from the rear. They had also set up a number of bunkers and pillboxes throughout the city, which were hardened structures that could serve as centers of pockets of resistance. A 155mm howitzer included with each of the two American battalions driving into the main portion of the city proved to be a very effective tool, given that they were able to blast holes through buildings which troops could then pass through, allowing them to avoid moving down open streets with much less cover. The Hotel Quellenhof, located at the base of a hill named Lousberg, or Observatory Hill, near the center of the city, proved to be one of the last centers of German resistance. It had thick walls that could not be penetrated by shells from American mortars and tank destroyers. American attacks upon it began on October 18th. By October 21st, American forces had captured central Aachen and the hotel, ending the battle for the city. 85% of Aachen's buildings were destroyed when it was captured, though 43% had already been due to bombing raids before the battle began. Aachen was the first German city to be captured by Allied forces, which opened up the path for continued advancement towards the Ruhr, Germany's industrial heartland during World War II.